So let's take a look here at the assignment for round 4P. And what do we got? We got number one, Erie's product ebb stocked out in the low end. What was the cost and gross profit? I said, please show your work. Well, it's just an add-on, right? I had you calculate maybe a couple rounds ago what the missed unit sales were, taking the potential minus the actual times the total demand in that segment. And now we've calculated what the missed sales were by taking the missed units times the price of that particular product. So now we're going to take it a step further and calculate what the gross profit is. Next step will probably be the after-tax profit, but let's worry about that. Here we go. So first, the potential was 21.1, and the actual was, and we'll take a look here if we're looking at ebb. Yep, potential versus actual. So we got 21.1, and the actual was 11.4. So it missed out on 9.7% of the market share, right? And if we take that times what the total demand was for the low end, you go back and look at that, but it was 13,948,000, and we're leaving off the 3 zeros. So, but I kind of added them here. So we got 1,352,956. Okay. Again, if you might have abbreviated this 1,353,000, and that would be okay. Okay. We take that times the $18 sales price. So they missed out on roughly $24.4 million in missed sales or revenue. Call it either one. Okay. And if we calculate what its variable cost was, the $12.32, and where do I get that? Well, I got to go up and look at ebb in the production here, production analysis, ebb, low end. Okay, $5.30 is its cost of material, and its cost of labor then is $7.02. So I combine that, and I come up with $12.32 for my total variable cost per unit. Okay. So my total variable cost, then if I take again the missed unit sales, okay, the total cost of goods for those missed unit sales would have been $16,668,000. Okay, so all I have to do then is subtract the two, and I come up with about $7.7 million in gross profit left on the table. Okay. Kind of a shortcut might have been to just take the missed unit sales times the gross profit per unit, taking the price minus the variable cost per unit, and I'd end up with $5.68 as my gross profit per unit, and take that again times the missed unit sales, and I come up with the same answer. Okay, so there's number one. Number two is what will be the total industry unit demand in the high end for round 5, and what I really wanted you to find out here, take a look at, was that we're having a recession, right, this next year. It's going to go down, okay? And so in the high end, scroll down a little bit, and a little bit more, okay? Our total industry demand for round 4 was 4,655,000 units, but our growth rate next year is a minus 7%. So the math is, of course, our demand from round 4, which is 4,655,000 times, and 1 minus 0.07. So 1 minus, right, the growth rate, or 1, yeah, plus or minus the growth rate for next year. So it's really just times 0.93. So 4,655,000 times 0.93 is equal to 4,329,000. Okay. Chester issued nearly $41.4 million in long-term debt. What was the effect, if any, on ROE and EPS? The point here I was trying to make is that borrowing money doesn't have a lot of effect on ROE, okay, or earnings per share. And the reason for that, okay, if I add $41.4 million in long-term debt, I have to add an equal amount of assets. Either it's going to be in cash or I'm going to invest it in something. Whatever it is, it's going to be an equal amount of assets. Okay, so my equity is not going to change. Okay, and unless I use the money to buy back stock or something, which I'm not here. Okay, or I don't know, my shares aren't going to change. Well, will it have some effect on my earnings? And the answer to that is yes, it could. Okay, because I'm going to pay some interest on that. And if my interest rate's 10%, that's kind of what we're looking at in this game. 9 or 10%, I'm going to pay $4 million in interest. So that's not small. Okay, and now you got to remember though that interest is tax deductible. So $4 million, my actual interest cost there after tax is about $2.5 million. So my return would be minus $2.5 million. Now, kind of the problem with that, though, too, is that, obviously either that cash got invested in something that hopefully increased income, or even if that cash is just sitting there, it's earning interest to offset the interest that I'm paying, right? So the net's even smaller. And the point is that borrowing money doesn't have a lot of effect on ROE or earnings per share. Okay, not in just a real general sense. Again, what you use the money for can have a huge impact on those things. Okay, but the actual act of borrowing the money doesn't have a lot of impact on them. Okay, on the other hand, if you're selling stock, for example, and raising money that way has a huge impact on both ROE and earnings per share. Okay, and that gets back to the phrase you guys hear me say all the time: debt's always cheaper than equity. Okay, debt is cheaper than equity, and that's why, because it has huge impacts on both ROE and earnings per share. And one of the reasons I score so highly for ROE and earnings per share. 4, in your opinion, what is Chester's strategy? Providing reasons why you feel that way might be helpful, and I say they're a broad cost leader. Okay, it's competing vigorously in every segment, so it's broad, right? It's not. If you're a low-cost niche, you're going to move all your products towards the traditional and low end. You may not have accomplished that yet, okay, but you would see that those products would be moving in that direction. And if you're a life cycle, you're going to be working to get rid of both your performance and size ones. Okay, and it's not doing that. So it's not, and it's also not a high differentiation niche. Because again, it's competing vigorously in the low end and the traditional segment. Okay, so I can rule out really 4 of the 6 possible strategies. It's not life cycle at all. Okay, I can rule that out because it's competing in performance and size. So it's definitely not life cycles. There's 2 of them gone. Okay, it's not a low niche, because it's competing so much in the high end. So there's the 3rd one I've ruled out. And the 4th one I rule out is the high niche. Okay? And again, because it's competing in the traditional and the low, competing vigorously down there. So I'm only left with 2. It's either a broad low cost or a broad differentiator. Okay? Those are hard to distinguish. If you put either one of those down, I'm probably going to give you pretty good credit as long as your reasoning's okay. I mean, it's obviously moving its products, or keeping its products abreast or up to date, competing on the location, okay, the positioning, and it's doing that, but it's also investing a lot of money to reduce its costs. And so I kind of lean that way. I can cheat. I can actually look it up, but I would lean that way. And again, you can rule out the 4 of the 6. So hopefully you came up with one of the other 2, and probably going to be an okay answer, especially if you can defend it a little bit and why you made that decision. So there you have it, a recap for the assignment round 4P.